My name is Emily Browne. I'm the Senior Lecturer in Patient Safety and Simulation at Staffordshire University. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a project that we've worked on, I've worked on within the university, developing large-scale interprofessional education simulation exercise. So we realised that our students don't really get IPE. They get a lot of classroom, you're in the classroom together with the other students, so it's IPE, but actually they don't work together. So we want to train our students not just in silos. We want them to work together, recognise the importance of working alongside other professions, and to give them that experience as part of their training. So that was the problem, and we were like, how are we going to fix it? So we used integrated simulation technology, we used the mannequins, we used simulated patients, we used all sorts of different technology to make that happen. But we also brought together multiple professions. So we had our nursing students, we had ODP students, we had paramedic students, adult children, mental health, but we also had local clinicians. We used some local military. I've been in the reserves for quite some time, RAF reserves and army reserves. So that's free labour. They will come and they play great patients. So that worked really well. So we've got the medical units in. They love a little bit of dressing up. And we also used clinicians from our local trust, some of whom are here today. And we got them to do their job. So instead of having a lecturer going, and I'm a medical consultant, we had a medical consultant, we had ACPs, we had people who do that job playing that part in the simulation, which really made it real for the students. So at one point, one of the students went, "It's an AD consultant." I was like, yes, it is. And like, we thought we were just doing some pretending. No, we're going to work together. So we're not having to make things up. They were able to work along as a team. The important parts of the simulation, the first one that we did, we ran a patient journey. So we went from point of incident, so we had various medical ailments, we had GP referrals, we had trauma, that our paramedic students went out into the community, collected those patients. We had 3 paramedic teams bringing them in, and then we had an A&E and a ward area that had our nurses and doctors in them, so qualified doctors and ACPs, student nurses. And they brought those patients in and followed several different patient journeys. We had 16 patients in total that ran through that scenario. At one point, they had a cardiac arrest on the ward, and the paramedics were phoning through to say, we've got another patient coming in. And the nurse was like, well, can they wait, because we've just had a cardiac arrest? But no, they can't, because in real life, the ambulance crew won't not bring the next patient in because you've just dealt with a cardiac arrest. So we really allowed it to run in real time. They were really immersed in the situation. They had to take their lunch break within the period that they were working. We used hands-off facilitation. So we worked on the principle that no matter what they did, that was the right thing to do. That was their clinical decision and their clinical judgment. They chose to do whatever they did. And yes, there may have been other avenues, but that's what we addressed in the debriefing afterwards. At no point did we step in and go, just going to stop you there, have you thought about breathing? Just going to stop you there, you haven't connected the defib properly. We just let it roll, we just let them experience some highs and lows of doing that. The technology wasn't quite working, well, what would you do in practice? And as educators and facilitators, we find it really difficult not to step in and fix that issue for them. But if we allow them to have the experience of having some of those difficulties, they overcome them, and that helps with their resilience, that helps with the way that they're working. And it's in a safe environment, so it's not overly stressful. They're not going to kill anybody in our simulation stress. People may die, but they would have died anyway because of our scenarios. But they are allowed to experience, well, if something's gone wrong, nobody's going to step in and fix it. I'm going to have to fix that by calling for help, asking a technician to come and look at my equipment, whatever you would do in real life. And the students really valued that. We used mannequins, so we have some CAE and Laerdal simulators that we used. but we also used live casualties. So we had some of our TA, we had some of our clinicians who the students didn't directly work with. I deliberately asked midwifery tutors to take part because they didn't necessarily teach that student group. One of our midwifery tutors does pregnancy very well, so she did that for us. And we used the equipment, so their OBS came up on screen, so we used the LED device to do that. But that multidisciplinary experience was so good for the students. They were really able to embrace working with other people. This is what it would be like in real life. I'll have to have these conversations because simulation is so often small groups or singular groups. The benefits of this are that collaborative working, that working together. Our staff today, so we all love sim. We're at ASPE. We've paid to come. We get it. We understand it. We like it. Some of our colleagues are terrified by simulation. They're like that. No, I don't want to. I can't just switch mannequin on. I don't want to do that. But by involving those tutors who don't normally embrace sim, they were like, oh God, yeah, we get it. We understand it. We want to be involved, and they enjoyed the process. And we've subsequently run more scenarios. Hopefully everything that we do is to enhance that patient safety, which is our ultimate goal, but giving new opportunities to those students and the staff to be part of that experience. So I have got all good lecturers include a video in their footage, just in case it's all going horribly wrong. So, circle of doom.
Today we, as a group, student paramedics, went out into the community or went out into Stoke House. We assessed patients, we treated patients, and then we brought them to the wards to get further treatment.
It was set in real time, just to practice our skills and communication, leadership skills, teamwork, with dealing with other healthcare professionals. Like we had a consultant, we had the anaesthetist, ODP.
With placement and with university, we don't really get to see what happens to our patients after, or we don't understand what happens after. So, for example, with the patient we had that had the PE, I didn't know what happens after we take them to A&E. And then I got to stand there and see what the doctor would say, what would happen to them, whether they get thrombolyzed or not, what kind of treatment plan they'll get, what scans they'll get.
The biggest challenge is probably not knowing what's happening and being thrown into a situation. But that's obviously the biggest challenge, but it's obviously the biggest benefit because that's how it would be in practice. You're not going to know what's coming in. You have to think quick on your feet.
We're all very different clinicians, but I feel like because we're very different, we've all got different ideas and we come to every challenge with a different approach. So I guess finding the balance in the team, but then it did work well in the end.
For me, it's just building confidence and getting in there and seeing how it actually works and how it is in, like I said, it's real time. So there's also you can slow it down, ask questions, and understand why they're doing stuff.
I think it's helped me think for myself because normally when we're out on the road, we're with a senior clinician who we kind of look up to, and every decision we make, we kind of go by them. But today we had to make a decision for ourselves, and it's quite hard because we questioned ourselves a lot. But as a group, we worked really well.
I think they put it better than I ever could. I think one of the key things is when the paramedic student talks about the fact that when they're out in practice, they are supernumerary, they are able to stand back and not get involved, but by doing that simulation, they have to take that role, they have to take that part, they've not got someone who they can kind of go, is that right? Or in fact, not take part in, which they're sometimes feeling that happens in practice. But involving our practice partners within these simulations is also helping build those links, build that community environment. Okay, so my key findings. We did find that the student paramedics have received a lot more simulated education and simulated practice. I don't know, it's just how they work it. They tend to be doing these things a little bit more. But all of the students gave positive statements following the activities. Many of them beforehand were nervous, but they were all positive at the end. They all reported favourably. They all asked for more, which was brilliant. Our emerging themes really from this was that it developed their confidence, it challenged them in a way that placement and university wasn't otherwise, and it gave them a different clinical experience and perspective. The impact then is that training, that repetition, that teamwork, those non-technical skills were really enhanced, and it improved their self-confidence, and it led to better leadership and hopefully better clinicians going out into our practice areas. Next steps, we've run some more IPE days since. We are doing more, we're doing some community-based ones. We're going to hopefully get some of this stuff published. We want to widen our participation. I'm now working with our social work department to run this sort of simulation around that kind of thing. We are investing in our infrastructure, we are investing in our equipment, and we are investing in our staff training in order to deliver this better, well, and more frequently. We're also, obviously, as everybody is, developing simulation-based educational curriculums and going back and embedding in existing curriculums. I would just like these last ones. Any questions?